What the f*** did I just watch? Whoa, what is happening, guys? It's Lonzo Liggins, Horror Movie News. I just got back from watching The Substance, and let me just tell you, I am just absolutely blown away. I don't even know where to start. I really don't know where to start. I mean, it was the most unique. It wasn't even like watching a movie. It was an experience. It wasn't watching a movie. It was just an experience. It was unlike anything I have ever seen. In a good way. I wouldn't necessarily categorize it as a horror movie. It's more along the lines of one of those Saw movies where it's more like gory. And people have been walking out of this movie. I guess a bunch of people all across the country, all across England have walked out of the screenings. It's been described as one of the most graphic movies ever made. For a reason. I couldn't really put this in a category. It's more along the lines of a psychological gore fest, but not horrifically gory, in my opinion. It was just so uniquely made that I can't really describe what category I can put it in. I'm glad I used the analogy of Limitless. There are a lot of parallels with Limitless, but Substance is in its own category. You have a lot of these elements and these messages that are sort of intertwined with the movie itself: body image, ageism, how we feel in an industry that's sort of pushing us out for whatever reason. If it's looks, if it's talent, if it's, in this case, it's Hollywood. Some of you know I've been an actor for 20 years. I've been in this business for a long time, and I can tell you that this is a very common theme for people, not necessarily to the extent that you see it in this movie, but I do know a lot of actors and actresses who would inject themselves with this stuff just to see if they could birth a younger version of themselves. Look, I'm not going to tell you too much about the movie, but I am going to tell you it's about this woman who's aging out of her career field, so to speak. She was a movie star, kind of assumed that she was a movie star because we don't actually see any movies, but she was a TV star. At least that's what we know when we're watching it, that she's a TV star that gets aged out and told that she's a little bit too old to be doing this. So she finds this substance thing after she gets into a car accident that allows her to birth a younger version of herself. The truth about the movie is it's not necessarily something that is going to give you a lot of a backstory. There's not this big, huge mystery that unravels. You're not going to really learn a lot about the characters. It's all happening in real time, which is great because you kind of just get to lean back and figure things out and enjoy the story as it's taking place. There's some real gaps in it. There's some absurdism. I think absurdism is a really good word. Things that you're just like, you know what, that doesn't make sense, and it doesn't necessarily need to make sense. You don't know what year this is happening in. You don't know, how she's paying for this. You don't know any of these things. You're just like, how is this whole thing taking place? But at the end of the film, you don't really care, because layered in between everything is this message and mystery that's being packaged to you. My next thing would be, should you actually watch this movie? Would I recommend this movie for people to watch? Yes. Let me explain to you why. First of all, it's unlike any sort of horror movie experience you're going to have. And you got to stay to the bitter end. Do not walk out of this movie. If you've got to turn your head away from some of the gore, turn your head away. But stay and watch it to the bitter end, because there is a lot that unfolds and a lot that happens. So please stay to the end. Would I watch it in the theaters? Yes. There's a reason why the theater is a little bit more advantageous to actually watching it at home, unless you have a really good sound system, is because it's such a visceral experience and the sound plays a really critical part to the movie, that watching it in the theater actually gives you the full explosion of the senses. It is this sort of roller coaster ride of the senses when you're watching it. It has a lot of throwbacks to some of Oliver Stone's earlier work, when he would cut to certain things and the sound played a really major part of the film. So I would definitely recommend watching it in the theater. If you don't watch it in the theater, then watch it in a place, at least like one of those big surround sound systems, and turn up the sound so you can soak in everything that's happening with it. Review-wise, would I give this movie, a thumbs up or thumbs down? I would give this movie an absolute own category. I can't even give it a thumbs up or thumbs down because of the fact that it's so revolutionary and different and unique from its perspective that I can't really say it's one thing or the other. The thing that I can say is it's not really going to scare you. It's going to scare you in a freak out sense, but it's not going to be a horror type experience where you're having jump scares and things are freaking you out. There are some moments where you're like, certain things start to take place, but there's nothing that's happening where there's a real unique tense buildup where you're just waiting for something to come out and freak you out. There's nothing like that in there. I'm just going to let you know because I don't want to let you guys down and disappoint you, but it's an experience worth having. The writing is excellent. The acting with Dennis Quaid, Demi Moore, on point. Directing, incredible. There's a lot of different choices and unique things that are happening in the movie that make it stand out from any movie that I've seen thus far. It's an experience worth having. It's a movie worth watching. Would I say it's one of the best movies I've ever seen? No. Definitely one of the most unique movies I've ever seen, and definitely something that needs to be watched for any horror fan. I think that whatever this director puts out next is going to be phenomenal. I think this is an amazing piece of work. It's groundbreaking. It definitely sheds light on how industries wash people away. They treat them as they're replaceable. They treat them like they're just products or things to just be swapped out for something a little bit better looking, almost like a car. And it definitely shows how people can get to a point where desperation plays a huge part in how they choose to have things done to their body or what they'll choose to put into their body to get a result that they want. So that's it, guys. I just wanted to let you know about that movie. Go see The Substance. I'm glad that it's something that I said was groundbreaking because I feel like it is. I feel like it's something that's a weird experience. And I want to know from you guys, if you've seen this or if you see it, please come back and let me know what your thoughts are on this, because I want to know if you think it was crazy. Did you walk out? Did you think it was too gory? What did you think? Tell us your perspective and your take on this film. As always, subscribe, like, comment, let me know what your guys' thoughts are. So in the next episode, I'm going to be talking about a subject that you'll really appreciate. I'm not going to tell you quite what it is. I'm just going to drop it and let you guys see it. So as always, guys, have fun, stay scared.